Hi, and welcome back to That Chick Angel TV. It's me, Angel, and it's what I love, what I hate. So, we're going to start it off with something that I am hating right now, and I'm going to be getting you all's advice after I tell you all about this. So, my son is in preschool, and there is a little child. Well, let me go back. A couple of months ago, back in 2013, my son was coming home saying, such and such slapped me, such and such scratched me at my face, such and such hit me. For like a week straight, he would come home telling me this one particular child was hitting him or scratching him in the face or slapping him. And so I go and talk to his teacher, and he has two, and one of them, bless her heart, she's so sweet, but she is old. She threw Mary, Mother of God's baby shower when she was pregnant with Jesus. She's old. And I'm like, so teacher, my son is saying this little boy is slapping him and scratching him. Have you all seen this? And she was like, no, we haven't. We haven't seen anything. She's obviously not from here. Anyways, and I was like, okay, well, can you keep an eye out on that? Because that's not something, my son doesn't typically talk about people hitting him. So I'm figuring this is actually happening. So then, he's still coming home saying it. And then when I go talk to her again, she's like, well, we saw Marcus actually push the young child and da-da-da-da-da. Now all of a sudden, oh, it's my child instigating it. Now, mind you, I know my child. And I'm not one of those mamas that's blind. I know my child's faults. If you were to say my son wasn't listening, that's my child. If you were to say that my son was making a joke out of everything, and when you were trying to be serious with him, he was just laughing in your face, my son would do that. If you said my son accidentally started cussing in school, yes, my son would do that. He would drop the SHIT bomb on you. Yes, he will, because he didn't heard it a little too many times. There are a lot of things I know my son will do, but in the 2.5, almost 3 years, 3 years he's been at that school, my son has never been physical as far as in wanting to punch, push, scratch folk, right? So now all of a sudden, it's my child's fault. So I'm like, all right, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go talk to the mama of this child that's scratching my son. And so I say to her, yeah, Marcus has been saying that your son has been slapping him and scratching him and stuff like that. And then I said, has your child been saying anything about my son doing stuff to him? And she's like, no, And I'm surprised that my son would be doing that. But, I'll talk to him, really blown away by it. So I was like, okay, all right, cool. Just, if you want to keep an eye out on it. So anyways, the teachers were saying how they are very crazy with each other, and they're always playing with each other. So my son starts calling this child his best friend, which I'm like, why are you calling somebody who's slapping you and scratching you in your face your best friend? So things seemed to gotten better. We weren't hearing about it. I'm sorry, this story's taking so long. Anyways, we go to the child's birthday party, right? I didn't want to go, but since my child is now calling this little boy his best friend, I said we're going to go. Literally, while I'm standing there, in my face, we're sitting there. They run over to me. Little boy wants to see my phone. My son goes like this, oh, to the little boy. He goes, oh, and I say, Marcus, don't put your hands in people's face. That little boy turns around and scratches my son down his face like that, right? So, of course, I holler at that boy. And I'm like, don't you scratch my child, right? Like, you don't do that. Which I'm like, what type of response is that? Okay, to this, you're going to scratch? Like, if that's what the teachers are saying my son is doing at school for him to be able to deserve to be scratched in the face, y'all have made that up. You all have made that up, because that means that if you say hi to me, that I got every right to cuss you out just for saying hi. So, and so the boy runs off. I'm sitting there talking to my son, like, don't let people put their hands on you. Like, that's not what we do. You don't let people put their hands on you. And then I notice he has a scratch right here on his face. I said, who did that? He says the child did. And I was like, you need to stop letting and the child is smaller than him. So I'm like, what are you doing? So anyway, my son stops crying, and he's like, okay, I want to go play with my friend. He's like, some woman who is abused by her husband but just doesn't want to leave him. That's what I feel like my son is acting like. And at the birthday party, I'm thinking this child is turning 4. This little boy turned 5. Unacceptable behavior for a 5-year-old. You know better. Well, the straw that's broke the camel's back. So to end this story is that last week, my son and this child were in a race. My son won. The child grabbed my son's arm and bit him. Bit him. The teacher had to write up an incident report because he broke my son's flesh. So I'm sure other stuff has happened, but because there's no physical proof on my child, they just don't be writing up the report. So, of course, my son's at the age now where he can tell me who did this. The teachers aren't allowed. I said, are y'all going to be bringing this up in this child's parent-teacher conference? Because y'all going to have me up in here throwing kids back and forth up in here up against walls because they don't know how to keep their hands up off my child. So me and my husband have been trying to explain to my son, this is what friends do, this is what friends don't do. Because the teacher were like, the hardest thing we're having is they like to play with each other, but then all this stuff keeps happening. So we've been trying to get my son to realize this is not the type of person you want to play with. If they don't know, they don't have better control over their emotions. But what really irritates me is that the mama, she's trying to be oblivious of the fact that her son does not have good control over his emotions, because he reacts very crazy. Like he reacts like a 2-year-old. Like I can understand a 2-year-old responding like that because they don't really sometimes understand that just because you're upset you can't put your hands on people. But when you're 5, oh no, you need your ass whooped is what you need. And I was yelling at my son about it, and me and my husband, because we're just trying to drill it into him. And I was like, do you want me to go school and spank this little boy? And he was like, yes, I do. And my husband was like, no, you need to spank him in his face. So, I mean, we don't want to raise him to be fighting this child, but we also like, you need to know what friends do and what friends don't do. And friends don't put hands on other friends. So I'm really pissed off at a lot of people in this situation. I'm pissed off at the mama and the boy's parents, because another parent in the classroom was like, no, yeah, that boy's aggressive. And so the parent for being oblivious. Like, we all have to know our children's good sides and their flaws to protect them from themselves sometimes and to protect other folk. I'm also mad at the teachers because they really tried to throw this on my little black baby. He's the only little black boy in that class, and you want to try to put it on him? Please believe I will get crunk up in there. Yes, we are family of the year at this school, but I'm going to tell you what, we will also be #1 enemy. You keep playing with me. And then 2, I'm mad at my child because I'm like, why are you playing with this little boy? Why? So I want to know what you all would do, because this is a situation that I hate. Like, we are really trying to drill it into him. Like, this is not right. I don't call this bullying. I don't throw that word around. This is you playing with a child that does not know how to behave, and you need to let this child know that there are consequences. You're not going to play with me. We're not going to be cool if you're going to keep putting your hands on me. But my child's like, he said sorry. What? What would you all do if this was your child and there was a little child? And it's not like it's happened a whole lot here recently, but it's enough that I'm like, y'all gonna quit trying to make like I'm crazy and I'm overreacting. My child shouldn't be getting bit and scratched up in the face at school. That's just unacceptable. Not when this school ain't freaking free. Tell you what. All right, leave your comments below. What would you all do if you all had a little 4-year-old and my baby's cute? You want to scratch up my baby's cute face with his dip? Lies you tell. Comment below. All right, please share a like, subscribe if you haven't already. This is going to be a great year. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching.